Hello friends, this video on matter and magnetism part 2 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched the previous video before going ahead with this one. So we will now study Oersted experiment. So what is it that he did that made him conclude that electricity and magnetism are so closely related to each other? So basically what he did was he did something not very complicated. He did a simple thing. He prepared or he designed an electric circuit, a very simple circuit. All he wanted was a wire which conducts current. Here in this circuit, what he did, he took a wire, connected a bulb to it and a battery to it. So what happens when when you switch it on, then the bulb starts glowing. So that means when the bulb is glowing, your wire is conducting current. That means current is flowing through this wire. And when current is flowing through the wire, what he did, he took a magnetic compass or magnetic needle, as I told you. He brought this magnetic needle, and I told you just now that what is the purpose of this needle? I will tell you about all those things, that how this needle function and why is it always pointing towards one direction. We will discuss all those things in our next lesson. So as of now, you should just know that magnetic needle is a device or instrument which will always point towards the south direction. It basically tells you the direction, right? So what he observed was, when you bring this magnetic needle in front of the wire which is carrying current, the needle shows some deflection. Now, when will this needle show deflection? Since it is a magnetic needle, this needle will show deflection when you bring it to some magnetic field, right? So now here you didn't bring it in front of a magnet. Like normally what happens is, when you bring this needle in front of a magnet, it is showing deflection. That is acceptable because there is a magnet, so there is a magnetic field around the magnet. But here in this case, he saw that there was nothing else other than the current carrying wire. So when he brought the magnetic needle in front of the wire, it showed deflection. So then he extended his experiment a bit. What he did, he took the magnetic needle away from the wire. When he took the needle away from the wire, he saw that the deflection reduced. Similarly, when he brought the needle closer and closer to the wire, the deflection increased. So he found out a relation. With his observations and the results, he concluded something. He observed that the needle is not deflecting randomly. There is a particular pattern of deflection of the needle. And what is that pattern? He observed that when you bring the magnetic needle in front of a wire which is carrying current, the needle shows deflection. That was one thing. And also, the direction in which the needle is getting deflected, that direction is also specific. So what was that direction? So how he reached this result was that he performed a series of experiments. He placed the needle at many different places and observed the result. And with his results, he concluded that the direction of deflection is nothing but a tangent drawn to an imaginary circle which is drawn taking this wire as the center. Let us suppose if you consider this wire as the center, you imagine it in a separate figure. Let us suppose if I say this is the wire. This is a wire which is carrying current. So if you imagine this wire as the center, and then if you draw a circle, I'm sorry, it is not exactly a circle, but whatever. If you draw a circle, then the tangent to this circle gives the direction of deflection of this magnetic needle. That was his observation, right? So that was all that Oersted concluded. He just concluded that any wire which is conducting current produces magnetic effect, right? That means it produces magnetic field. So that means electricity has a close relation to magnetism. And he also observed that the direction of the magnetic field was somewhat like this, was somewhat a tangent to a virtual circle drawn taking the wire as the center. So this was what Oersted concluded. So he said that magnetic compass needle deflected when current passes through a wire. Deflection is along the tangent of a virtual circle with wire as center and plane perpendicular to the wire. So that means this is the wire. You take the wire as the center and you draw a circle in the plane perpendicular to the wire. So this is the plane which is perpendicular to the wire. So you draw a circle like this. So tangent to this circle gives the deflection of the magnetic needle, right? So this basically gave us a final result that charges in motion not only constitutes current, but it also gives rise to magnetism. So when charges are moving, it gives rise to magnetic field as well. So then later it was observed, or it was concluded somewhat like this, that if you have a conductor here, this green rod is nothing but a conductor, or you can consider it as a conducting wire. So where current is flowing, where you can see that this shows that current I is flowing through this conductor. So that means when current is flowing through a conductor, there is a magnetic field around this conductor. Like how we talk about electric field, similarly you have something called magnetic field. But the difference is that when I talk about electric field, I talk about charges which are at rest. If a charge is not, or even if it is not moving, that charge will have an electric field around itself, right? So that when another charged particle comes, it experiences a force because of that electric field, right? You remember all those concepts, right? There is a charge. So that charge will produce an electric field around itself. Now another charged particle comes into the periphery. So that charged particle will experience a force due to the electric field produced by the first charge. Right? That is how it was in case of electric field. Similarly, in case of magnetic field, when charges are moving, that means when charges move, what happens? It constitutes current. So that means current basically produces a magnetic field. That means again here also, if some other charged particle comes into the periphery of this magnetic field, then it will experience the magnetic field. It will experience a force due to the magnetic field as well. This doesn't mean that this charge is not having an electric field of its own. That means electric field is also, charges produce electric field as well as magnetic field. But charges at rest will produce only electric field, but charges in motion will produce magnetic field as well. So I hope I am clear that how is electricity and magnetism related to each other. So magnetism, it is nothing new which was born out of the world. It was just that the electricity itself produces magnetism. That means charges in motion, they itself produce magnetic field. And because of this magnetic field, the entire phenomenon of magnetism occurs. So the conclusion of Oersted experiment was moving charges produce a magnetic field in the surrounding region. So I hope you understood the analogy between electric field and magnetic field, like how you understand the concept of electric field in case of electrostatics. Similarly, you understand the concept of magnetic field in magnetism, right? Okay. So this is what it is, the same figure which I displayed in the previous slide. So now you're clear? That means when the charges are moving, see, I'm repeating this over and over again so that the concepts are absolutely clear in your mind. I mean, you don't need to memorize things. You should understand things. That charges, when they are at rest, you keep a charge at rest. Okay, so that charge will produce an electric field around itself. So similarly, when that charge starts moving, along with electric field, it will also produce a magnetic field. Right? Okay. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.